Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to my Holly Jolly Christmas DIY and Decor series. This little sleigh was a fun find at a thrift store. I paid $4.99 for it, and I'm going to do something really simple. First, I'm going to take my sanding block and just sand down the paint. These are all hand painted little pictures here, and they're really sweet, but I don't want to have that on there. So I'm going to just sand it down and use my finger to make sure that it's nice and smooth. At the bottom on the rails, I'm also going to distress it a little bit because I'm going to leave it this wood color. After sanding, I'm just taking a damp cloth and getting all the sawdust off. Next, I'm going to be giving it a couple of coats of Rust-Oleum Chiffon Cream Chalk Paint. I'm going to paint this top portion and then the exterior portion of the little seat area because what I'm going to do next is going to cover up that little guy and gal. This bag was a great find at the Dollar Tree, and I'm so excited because it has 3 different trucks on it that I can use. This one is on top of it, makes it dimensional, so I'm going to pop that one off. But look it, there's another one underneath, and on the other side, there's another one there too. I wanted the edges of this truck to look a little distressed and not so perfect, but tearing it would have taken off too much of the paper. So I just used my needle nose pliers and pulled off some of the edging all the way around. Now that the paint is fully dry, I'm just going to give some sanding around the edges to bring some of that wood through. I ended up painting the whole top of the sleigh with the chiffon cream just to make it more consistent. Now I'm just using Mod Podge, and because this is a cardboard truck, I am going to put it on fairly thick, and then I'll put some Mod Podge on top to seal it in. I want to be able to hang this on the wall, so I'm using some hot glue and some of the thick jute rope from the Dollar Tree and just gluing on a handle. Last, I wanted to add a little bit more embellishment, so I've got a few pine cones and some pip berries and a little bit of greenery that I'm just going to hot glue right on top. And here's the finished look. I think it turned out super cute. This next project is using a crate that's already been done. So it's done. Basically, what I want to do is redo it because it's had its day. Anyhow, these little Christmas trees were cute on it, but we're going to do something different with it. Buffalo check is really popular at Christmas time, especially the red and black, but it can be a little tricky to paint. I found some buffalo check wrapping paper. You can see that in the top right hand corner, and I'm using Mod Podge, and I'm just cutting out a square and I'm going to glue that on, and that will be on each end of this little crate. Simple, easy, so Christmas. To make sure I don't rip any of the paper, I'm just going to use my utility knife here to cut out the little handles. With my sanding block, I'm very gently going around the edges because I want it to look rustic and weathered and worn. And I'm even going to go across the paper a little bit, and you can see that just pulls up some of the little creases and just makes it look like it's been around for a really long time. I love mixing together different colors and textures, and I found these cute little birdhouses at my Dollarama store, and they have this beautiful little tin roof. This is another piece of wrapping paper that I found at Michael's with the red buffalo check reindeer. I'm just going to cover this whole birdhouse with the buffalo check and really make it look so cute. To cover up the hole that was made from the string to hang the birdhouse, I'm just going to take a few pieces of twine and hot glue them on the peak and then also at the bottom of the roof. This next project is using 3 of the Dollar Tree white Christmas trees. I'm going to use all 3 of them, but I'm only going to be using the stand for the one. So I'm going to just put this together and then open it all up and fluff it out. With the second and third trees, I'm going to open them up halfway. So I'm going to have all the branches leaning towards one direction. So you can see here that there's a flat back and I'm fluffing everything out towards the front. And that's going to just make the tree look that much fuller. I'm going to put the trees together and use a cable tie in a few spots starting at the bottom, and that will hold it together. And these cable ties are white, so you won't even be able to see them. Here you can see how full and thick the tree is, and now I'm going to add some of these little glitter stems to give it more of a Christmas look. Now I'm just taking some of these berries that also came from the Dollar Tree. I'm trimming them down a little bit smaller and I'll just hot glue them in through the tree. To add even a little bit more sparkle, I've got some of these little mirror ball ornaments that I'm going to glue in the tree and some of them on the edges, and I'll probably hang some of them too. You can also tell here that I did trim some of the berries and put some doubles and little individual pieces on as well. Next, I'm using this little wooden crate that was used and already painted for a different project, and I'm just using my country gray chalk paint and I'm going to give it one good coat. Once it was completely dry, I took a little bit of burnt umber and just gave it a dry brush to make it look like a wooden box. Since this tree already has a stand, it was going to be really easy to be able to put it right inside the box. So I'm just marking off with a pencil where I need to trim those edges. And you can see here I'm just taking my snips and I'm going to snip that off, and be careful because that plastic just went flying across the room. Anyway, this is just going to help me. I'm going to be able to wedge that right inside the box without having to use any glue or floral foam. And here's what the tree looks like. I think it's so pretty, and it actually throws off a little bit of a pink glow when you're looking at it from far away because of those red berries. This DIY is all about making your own Christmas picks from supplies that you may already have. I have a lot of stuff. I have some greenery, I have some little red berry picks. Then I also have these pine cones from the Dollar Tree and some jingle bells. I'm so into jingle bells for Christmas, and I just have this little piece of floral wire. So I'm going to show you how I'm just going to put together a pick really easily from the supplies I already have here at home. First, I'm going to use a base, and that's going to be these greenery stems. I'm going to just put them together all in one spot and then just wrap my wire around a few times to secure them in place. I'm going to use 2 of these little berry stems, and because they have wire in them already, I can just wrap them around the top very easily. I'm going to put one a little bit closer to the end and then one sticking out a little bit further. As I create these, I'm just going to be playing with it and fluffing them out as I go and moving things around as I see fit. This little greenery branch is left over from spring and summer, and the way these little leaves are kind of jagged, they sort of look like holly. I'm going to add that in as well. The Dollar Tree has these pine cone little bunches. They're $1.25 here in Canada. You can get them frosted. You can also get them plain. I decided to use the frosted for this pick today. Another tip I can tell you is that make sure you put the hot glue on the pine cone because for some reason it sticks better. I've tried putting the hot glue on where I want to put the pine cone, but it just doesn't seem to stick well. So I'm not quite sure what the strategy is behind that, but it seems to work. So that's what I do. I also decided to grab a little smaller pine cone and just add that to one of the greenery stems towards the bottom. Have I told you yet how much I love jingle bells at Christmas time? Last year, I bought a whole bunch at clearance at the end of the Christmas season. I found some more at the dollar stores and different places. I've got a whole bunch of different sizes. So I decided to add a few of these little jingle bells right onto the pick. To finish up this little pick, I decided to take some buffalo check ribbon, which is all the rage for Christmas, but is also a theme that I'm running for this year at Christmas time. I'm going to just put an angle at the end, and then I'm going to twist the ribbon around and hot glue it at the top. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I don't put bows on any of my projects. I'm not a bow girl, but I do like having these little pieces of ribbon just hanging down and making things look a little bit prettier, maybe a little bit more feminine, but I still want to have that rustic feel, so I don't put any frou-frou bows on. So you won't see any Christmas bows this year with me. I hope you enjoyed these Christmas DIYs. And if you want to stick around a while to see what I'm going to be creating this year, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Those two black arrows will show you exactly where to click. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. See you in the next one.